Hello and welcome to another video. If you read the title by now, then you know that I dug a 258 diameter hole in my amplified survival world. But before we get to that, if you want to see more from this world, I stream from it over on Twitch 5 days a week, so make sure to follow me there. So I dug this giant hole in my amplified world. It's a 258 diameter circle, and I dug it all the way down to bedrock, Y5. In this video, I'll be sharing some of my experiences as well as motivations, and finally even the things that I learned while digging this hole. Now you might be asking, why did I do this? Why would anybody do this? Well, the primary reason is to make a super efficient creeper farm in the center. The idea is that by removing all of the other spawnable blocks like stone, gravel, andesite, diorite, all those things, the game has less blocks to check for places to spawn hostile mobs, meaning that we can maximize the amount of creepers that spawn per second. I'll be using a design by Logical Geek Boy. I'll try to remember to link it below. But his design uses nether portals and cats to average around 75,000 gunpowder per hour. So we will have almost literally unlimited gunpowder. The actual digging part, once I got down into the layers, took me about a month to do, but before that there was quite a bit to the project before I even started digging. Half of this area was covered by a huge dark oak forest. I had dark oak wood for days. I only ended up chopping about half of it down, and then I just burned the rest of it down because I just could not be bothered anymore. The other half was mostly a swamp and a little bit of a river. I had to drain those. Other things I had to do was enchant many pickaxes, mine netherite to make those netherite pickaxes. Then I had to get villager trades for things like unbreaking, efficiency 4, and mending to put on all of those pickaxes. While this took a long time, a very long time, it wasn't necessarily difficult because I just literally broke blocks over and over and over again. It was just time consuming. If you're like me, it seems like one of the first things everybody does when they start playing Minecraft is to start digging a giant hole just to see how big it can get. But usually they give up pretty quickly, at least I did. Well, for this project, I didn't give up, which was kind of the difficult part. Day after day, layer after layer, staying motivated to continue was really the biggest challenge with a project of this scale. One of the other major difficulties was slime, constant, unending slime. They were almost always present once I got below Y40. I don't know how slime spawn mechanics work exactly, but I swear the lower I got, the closer I got to bedrock, the worse they got. Eventually, I tried spawning many iron golems to take care of them, and that worked well for a while, but no matter how hard I tried, the iron golems always died. The slime always won. Throughout my time digging this hole, I had a vision in mind, kind of a vision in the back of my head, what I want the completed project to look like. Keeping that idea in mind was really what kept me returning to the hole day after day. I've always enjoyed games that involve a lot of grinding, and if you've watched any of my streams, my playstyle in Minecraft kind of reflects that, I think. For me, digging a 258 diameter hole was one of the ultimate goals. Doing such a mindless, repetitive activity became almost cathartic and therapeutic in a way. Mindless activities can sometimes be a way to relieve stress as there's zero thought involved. The goal is clear and obvious and it's in front of you. You just need to put your head down and do it. And sometimes that thoughtless goal is what I needed and even enjoyed at times. Compared to many players, I found Minecraft relatively recently, only about a year and a half ago. But throughout my short time with the game, my life has taken many twists and turns, as I'm sure many people's did in the year 2020. In that time, Minecraft provided me an escape from some of the hardships and difficult moments in my real life. Even if it was just for a few hours, focusing on something other than the stressful moments, provided much needed distraction, and whether I wanted a creative outlet or just mindless grinds, Minecraft provided and continues to provide those opportunities to disconnect like no other game I've ever played. Many times, people would come into the chat on stream and watch me digging, ask how I stayed motivated or even had the patience to continue digging. Most of the time I said I just enjoyed the grind, which was true, but only partially. The truth is, this grind was both more than I anticipated and far more of a grind than anything I have ever done before in Minecraft. Many viewers also commented that they would love to do something like this, but they always gave up or didn't have the patience for it. And I'm not gonna lie, there were times when I really didn't want to continue digging. I enjoy grinding, but when the grind feels endless, then I see why it's easy to give up. So why didn't I? Give up, that is. Almost from the beginning of this world, I would set myself small goals, usually 1 or 2 per stream. Build this farm or build this part of the base or gather these materials. Splitting other base projects into smaller goals is something that I did without really thinking about it, as it made planning streams ahead of time much easier. Very quickly I realized that if my only goal was to dig until I hit bedrock, I would get burnt out very quickly, because bedrock was a far ways away. I split a lot of the prep work for the dig into smaller steps, like flattening the floating islands and mountains, draining the water, and digging up the dirt and gravel. So it followed that I should split the actual dig up into smaller sections, which is exactly what I did. I stopped thinking that I'd still have 50 plus layers to go, and thought I only have 2 layers left today. Then once I did those 2 layers, I wouldn't think about it again until the next stream. Setting much smaller goals every day and not looking at the big picture actually made it easier, which is kind of the opposite of what many people are taught. Little by little, those small steps added up to something much bigger. And I think there's something in that, splitting large, insurmountable goals to much smaller steps and then forgetting about the big picture. I can work in other areas of life, not just digging a big hole in a children's block placing game. What if I told you that you had a terminal disease? There isn't a cure, only a treatment to keep the symptoms at bay. In order to keep it from progressing, you would apply this simple treatment twice a day. It's easy, but you have to do it for the rest of your life. You might think, oh my god, every day for the rest of my life? That's insane, there's no way I can do that. And if you only looked at the big picture the rest of your life, you might be right. That's overwhelming, who could do that? Except what I just described you already do. You brush your teeth twice a day, every day, without even thinking about it. You wake up in the morning, wet your toothbrush, apply toothpaste, and brush your teeth. And then when you're done, you don't think about it again until that night. You don't think about the hundreds or thousands of times you still have left to brush your teeth. You do it once and then forget about it. And I think there's a lesson here about forgetting the bigger picture and only focusing on the small goals. Losing weight and getting in shape, learning to play an instrument, or speak a foreign language. These things can seem insurmountable at the beginning, when you realize how much further you have to go. But if you split them up by month, week, or even into small daily slices, that can help you from feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. Small steps, when taken together, boom, there it is, can add up to something much bigger that once seemed insurmountable.